300,000 years ago, we weren't the only humans. Across the globe, at least 7 different species walked the earth. Some were stronger. Some were better adapted to the cold. Some had already been thriving for hundreds of thousands of years. But today, only one remains. Us, Homo sapiens. How did this happen? What made us the last humans standing while all our cousins vanished? That's the mystery explored in Human, a brand new 5-part series from the BBC and PBS's Nova. And we're going to trace the incredible journey of our species, the struggles, the rivals, the near extinctions, and discover why this story matters more now than ever. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because the story of humanity is far from over, and this channel is where we uncover the hidden chapters. Let's rewind to Africa, about 300,000 years ago. That's where our species, Homo sapiens, first appeared. But back then, we weren't special. In fact, we were just one of many human species. In Europe, there were the Neanderthals, stocky, strong, masters of survival in freezing Ice Age climates. In Asia, the mysterious Denisovans thrived, leaving behind only a handful of bones, and as we'd later learn, traces of DNA inside us. On the islands of Indonesia lived Homo floresiensis, tiny, 3-foot-tall humans nicknamed the Hobbits. And in South Africa, Homo naledi puzzled scientists with a strange mix of primitive and modern traits. We weren't the dominant ones. If anything, we were the underdogs. Our numbers were small. Our bodies, compared to Neanderthals, were weaker. If history was a competition of brute force, we probably wouldn't have made it. And yet, something was about to tip the balance. About 60,000 years ago, our ancestors left Africa. They didn't know it, but this was one of the boldest journeys in history. They crossed deserts, mountains, and frozen plains. They built rafts and sailed to lands no humans had ever seen before. And wherever they went, they weren't alone. In Europe, they met Neanderthals. In Asia, Denisovans. The encounters weren't always violent. Sometimes they were intimate. DNA evidence proves it. If you have European or Asian ancestry, chances are you carry about 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. Some people in Oceania carry even more Denisovan DNA. Our species didn't just replace the others, we absorbed pieces of them. But this blending of bloodlines wasn't enough to guarantee survival. Something deeper was at work. A spark that would soon separate Homo sapiens from every other human species forever. What was that spark? Many scientists believe it was our unmatched ability to communicate and imagine. Neanderthals made tools, but we made culture. We sang around fires. We painted caves with images of animals and dreams. We told stories that bound groups together. This wasn't just entertainment, it was survival. Language allowed us to cooperate in large numbers, to plan hunts for mammoths, to share warnings about predators, to remember where the water holes were generation after generation, and imagination gave us something even more powerful, the ability to see what didn't yet exist, to build boats before we had sailed, to design traps before we had caught the prey. This was our superpower. It wasn't muscle, it wasn't claws, it was connection, and little by little this spark began to tilt the scales of history. Yet our spark came at a cost. By 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals, who had thrived in Europe for hundreds of thousands of years, were gone. The Denisovans disappeared too, leaving only fragments of DNA in us. Homo floresiensis, the little hobbits of Indonesia, vanished into legend. Why did they go extinct? The truth is, we don't know for certain. It could have been climate change, shrinking food supplies, new diseases, or competition with us. Maybe it was all of the above. What we do know is that by 30,000 years ago, every other human species was gone. We were alone, the last humans standing. But survival was only the beginning, because what came next would change the planet forever. For millions of years, humans lived in small bands of hunters and gatherers, but about 10,000 years ago, everything shifted. We domesticated plants and animals. We settled into villages. Villages became towns. Towns grew into cities. Cities became empires, and with empires came something revolutionary: writing. The first written records appeared in Mesopotamia over 5,000 years ago. Clay tablets with marks that could outlive their authors. For the first time, knowledge wasn't trapped in memory. It could be stored, shared, expanded. Writing was the first great information technology. It allowed laws, literature, and science to accumulate across generations, and it transformed us from survivors into builders of civilizations. And here we are today, 8 billion strong, the only human species left on Earth, but we're not truly alone. Inside us, in our DNA, live echoes of the ones who came before. Neanderthal strength, Denisovan resilience, forgotten cousins whose names we may never know. Their stories are part of our story. That's what makes the new PBS and BBC series Human so powerful. It reminds us that our survival wasn't inevitable, it was the result of chance, creativity, and connection. And maybe that's the greatest lesson of all. What makes us human isn't just survival, it's imagination, memory, culture, legacy. So the next time you look in the mirror, remember, you are not just one person. You are the result of hundreds of thousands of years of triumphs and losses, of love and struggle, of humans who refuse to vanish. We are the last humans standing. And it's up to us to decide what story comes next. If you want to keep uncovering the mysteries of history, subscribe now, hit like, and share this video, because together we'll keep the story of humanity alive.